Hello. Today I'm going to share with you a story that completely changed my career. A story about how 4 words from a coworker became the fuel I needed to prove my worth. This is the story of how I went from a doubted trainee to leading one of the company's most important launches. If you've ever been underestimated, if someone has ever told you that you weren't capable, or if you're looking for motivation to overcome your professional challenges, this story is for you. Stay until the end because I'm going to share the 3 most important lessons I learned on this journey. And before we begin, if you enjoy real stories of overcoming challenges in the corporate world, hit that like button now and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any content. It was March 2023 when I first walked into the office. I had just been hired for a junior position in the product management area of a fast-growing tech startup. The company was preparing to launch a new platform that would revolutionize the market. The training was intense. 8 hours a day of total immersion, complex systems, agile methodologies, internal processes, organizational culture. Everything was new, everything was fast, everything was challenging. The team. My training group had 6 people. Among them was Marcus. Marcus had 3 years of experience at another company in the sector, spoke confidently about frameworks and methodologies, and clearly saw himself as the most prepared in the group. From day one, I noticed Marcus looked at me differently. While he asked elaborate questions and shared previous experiences, I was there absorbing information like a sponge, taking detailed notes and trying to connect the dots. The project's complexity. The launch the company was preparing for was ambitious. A SaaS platform that would integrate 5 different services, with a completely new interface and an innovative pricing model. The deadline? 6 months. The pressure? Enormous. During training, each of us had to master at least 3 critical areas of the product. I chose to dive deep into user experience, metrics analysis, and stakeholder management. The defining moment. It was the 3rd week of training. We were in a practical session, solving a complex case of feature prioritization. I was working on my solution when I noticed Marcus looking over my shoulder. "You're taking too long with this," he commented. "It's simpler than you're thinking." I explained my approach. I was considering not just the technical requirements, but also the impact on user experience and alignment with long-term business objectives. Marcus shook his head with a condescending smile and said the words that changed everything. "You can't handle this. This is too complex for someone at your level." The silence in the room was palpable. Other colleagues looked uncomfortably. The training facilitator intervened quickly, but the damage was done. "Has this happened to you? Has someone underestimated you at work? Leave it in the comments. I want to hear your story too." That night, I couldn't sleep. Marcus's words echoed in my head. I had 2 choices: let that phrase define me or use it as a catalyst to prove my worth. I chose the second option. I decided that I would not only complete the training with excellence, but I would become an expert on the product we were launching. Not to prove something to Marcus, but to prove to myself. The action plan. I created a meticulous plan. Weeks 4 to 6 of training, I would master all technical aspects of the product, not just the 3 areas I had chosen. I would spend 2 extra hours each day studying technical documentation, use cases, and design decisions. Weeks 7 to 8, I would seek informal mentorships with the company's most experienced product leaders. I prepared specific questions and showed genuine interest in learning. Weeks 9 to 12, I would offer proactive help on parallel projects, even if they weren't my direct responsibility. I wanted to be seen as someone who adds value. The execution. The following weeks were brutal. My routine was work from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. in official training, then stay until 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. studying additional materials. I'd get home, have dinner, and still dedicate an hour to reading articles about product management and successful launch case studies. But something interesting started to happen. The more I studied, the more connections I made. I began to understand not just the what and how, but especially the why behind each product decision. The first results. In week 7, during a presentation on go-to-market strategy, I made an observation about a potential gap in our positioning for small businesses. The product director, who was watching, paused the presentation and asked me to elaborate. I presented my analysis. We had focused so much on medium and large companies that we were neglecting a significant market segment. I suggested some simple adaptations that could make the product more accessible to SMBs without compromising our core value proposition. The director was impressed. "This is exactly the kind of strategic thinking we need," he said. Marcus was in the room. His face showed no emotion. The opportunity arises. At the end of week 10, the product director called me for a one-on-one meeting. "We're impressed with your progress," he began. "You haven't just mastered the training content, but you're demonstrating initiative and critical thinking beyond what's expected." Then he asked the question that would change everything: "How would you feel about taking on a leadership role in the launch?" My heart raced. "What kind of role?" I asked. "We want you to coordinate the launch implementation team. You'd work directly with me and the other leaders, but you'd be responsible for ensuring all the pieces connect: product, marketing, sales, customer support. It's a huge challenge." I didn't hesitate. I accept. The final preparation. The next 6 weeks were the most intense of my professional life. I wasn't just learning about the product, I was learning about leadership, complex project management, stakeholder communication, and decision-making under pressure. I created a detailed project plan with all dependencies mapped. I established weekly meetings with each involved area. I created a dashboard to track progress in real time. I anticipated risks and prepared contingency plans. I worked 14 hours a day. Weekends? They didn't exist anymore. But I wasn't just working hard, I was working smart and strategically. If you're enjoying this story, share it with that friend who needs inspiration today. And keep watching because the best is yet to come. The night before the launch was surreal. We were in the office until 2 a.m. making final adjustments. The team was exhausted but motivated. We reviewed every detail one more time. Were the servers ready? Was the support team trained? Were the marketing materials ready? Were the customer communications scheduled? Checklist after checklist. Green, green, green. At 2:30 a.m., I sent everyone home to rest for a few hours. I stayed another 30 minutes reviewing our crisis response plan. I wanted to be prepared for any scenario. D-Day. The launch was scheduled for 10 a.m. I arrived at the office at 6:30 a.m. There were already 5 people from the technical team there, doing final checks. At 9 a.m., all company leadership was gathered in the main conference room. I presented the final status: everything ready, all systems operational, all teams aligned. At 9:55 a.m., we did a countdown. My finger was on the button that would initiate the launch process. 10 a.m. Click. The first challenges. The first 2 hours were perfect. Customers started signing up, the system was stable, initial feedback on social media was positive. Then, at 12:15 p.m., we received the first critical alert. One of the integration services was showing 300% higher latency than expected. This would impact the experience of about 40% of users. This was the moment. The moment when all the preparation would be tested. I immediately activated our response protocol, isolated the problem, mobilized the technical team, implemented a temporary solution while we worked on the definitive fix, and proactively communicated to affected customers about the problem and our actions. In 47 minutes, the problem was resolved. No customers lost, no data compromised, and we even gained praise for transparency and speed of response. More obstacles. But the day wasn't over. At 3 p.m., we discovered that one of our main competitors had launched an aggressive campaign directly comparing with our product. They were attacking us on exactly the points we considered our differentials. I quickly gathered the product and marketing teams. We reviewed our message, adjusted our communication, and decided to respond not with attacks, but by demonstrating value through real success cases from our early adopters. We created a response campaign in record time, 2 hours. And it worked. Our message resonated much more authentically than the competitors' attacks. End of day. At 8 p.m., we held our first launch day retrospective. The numbers were impressive. 2,847 new signups, goal was 2,000, trial to paid conversion rate, 34%, goal was 25%, net promoter score, 72, goal was 60, critical downtime average problem response time, 38 minutes. But more important than the numbers, the team was united, energized, and proud of what we had built together. The following days. The first week after launch confirmed it. we had a success on our hands. Customers were loving the product, specialized media was giving positive coverage, and investors began showing renewed interest in the company. 2 weeks later, the CEO called an all-hands meeting. He highlighted the success of the launch and publicly recognized the team's work. Then he called me to the front. "This launch was one of the most complex and successful in our history," he said. "And much of that is due to the exceptional leadership we had. I'd like to announce that we're promoting our launch leader to Senior Product Manager." The room erupted in applause. If this twist moved you, hit that like button now. And stay until the end because I'm going to share what happened with Marcus and the 3 most important lessons from this journey. ACT 4, the reunion and the lessons, 26:00, 29:00, the reunion with Marcus. Marcus still worked at the company. After training, he had been allocated to a different project and our paths hadn't crossed much. 1 week after my promotion, we met in the elevator. Awkward silence for a few seconds. Then he spoke, "Congratulations on the promotion. The launch was really impressive." I could have been petty. I could have thrown "you can't handle this" back in his face. But I chose a different path. "Thanks, Marcus. You know, that day in training when you said I couldn't handle it, in a way you were right. The me from that 3rd week really couldn't have. But your words forced me to become someone who could. So, in a way, thank you." Marcus was surprised. I was wrong. It was presumptuous of me. "We all make judgment errors," I replied. "What matters is how we grow from them." It was a short conversation, but meaningful. 2 months later, Marcus resigned to pursue an opportunity at another company. I hold no grudge against him. He was, inadvertently, the catalyst for my transformation. The 3 essential lessons. Lesson 1. Turn doubt into fuel. When someone doubts you, you have 2 choices: let it diminish you or use it as motivation to grow. Marcus's criticism could have destroyed me, but I chose to use it as momentum. Not all criticism is fair, but all criticism is an opportunity for reflection. Lesson 2. Impeccable preparation beats natural talent. Marcus had more experience, more natural confidence. But I had something more powerful: obsessive preparation. I studied more, worked more, prepared better. In the end, it's not who starts with more advantage who wins, but who prepares better for the challenge. Lesson 3. Leadership is serving, not dominating. The launch's success wasn't mine alone. It belonged to the entire team. My role was to remove obstacles, facilitate communication, make decisions when necessary, and celebrate collective victories. Leaders don't need to be the smartest in the room, they need to make the entire room collectively smarter. Closing, 29:00, 30:00. Today I'm a senior product manager. I'm leading products that impact hundreds of thousands of users. But I've never forgotten where I came from, nor the words that propelled me. "You can't handle this" wasn't a prophecy. It was a challenge. And I accepted it. If you're facing a difficult moment in your career, if someone is doubting you, if you're questioning your own capabilities, remember, you don't need to prove anything to anyone but yourself. But if you choose to prove it, prepare yourself, work hard, and lead with humility. Final CTA. If this story inspired you, I need 3 things from you right now. Hit that like button on this video so more people can find this message. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because every week I share real stories of professional overcoming and practical career tips. Comment below telling your own story of overcoming or which of these 3 lessons resonated most with you. And if you know someone who's going through a moment of doubt in their career, share this video with that person. It might be exactly the motivation they need today. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next video.